Three, two, one. Hello everyone, welcome to Fiaura, and yes, we are going over this monstrosity today, the Tier 5 Chieftain Mark 5. Now there is no vehicle in the dealer tree before the Chieftain, so you unlock this, however, by deflecting shots. So you better learn how to angle the armor, or this is going to be very painful just to get it unlocked. This is also the most heavily, quote, armored line of tanks in the game at the moment is the Chieftain, Challenger, Arete, and the upcoming Challenger 2s. What do I have to say about this tank? In every way, shape, and form I can possibly imagine, the Chieftain is coming up short. It is by far the most painful main battle tank I have ever played. For a start, the actual armor, the stock armor, is not very good. You have to get this Steel Brew applique slapped on it in order for the turret to be much, much, much beefier and better. The turret traverse is, well, let's face it, 18 degrees a second is terrible. And the acceleration and maneuverability of this vehicle will leave you begging to go play an AFV just so you know that you have things that can move around the battlefield. Now, the advantages to this vehicle we are about to start going over in comparison to its Tier 5 MBT counterparts. But that's after we do a brief history of the Chieftain. So, the Chieftain, or the FV4201 main battle tank, was developed during the 60s, 70s, and 80s by the United Kingdom. It is intended as the replacement for the Centurion series of tanks. As you know, people converted up from the medium heavy tank concept and started moving into the full-on main battle tank concept. It was replaced by the Challenger 1. Now, this tank, I mean, it was a solid vehicle, fair enough. The L11 120mm rifle gun is still one of the most accurate rifled 120mm guns in the world, and it's a lot more accurate than the smoothbore counterparts. The problem was the engine. It was really, really an over-ambitious engine. They wanted this thing to be able to run on any flammable liquid. The problem? About 90% of them broke down and had to be addressed with improvements to make it better, until finally, later down the series, they switched over to a diesel engine. The other problem with this particular tank, and this carries over into armored warfare, it was highly uncommon for the British to load heat rounds. You're going to be begging for a heat shell in this tank. I promise you that. You will be begging for it. Because about the only thing they fire was either Sabo or Hesh. That's it. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different variants of the Chieftain before they switched over to the Challenger 1. It was exported a lot, but as far as I can tell, I mean, this tank was not the best machine in the world. Hence why they developed an applique armor for it. So, getting into the actual Chieftain, let's take a look at comparison to its immediate rival, the T-72 Ural. For a start, the fully upgraded Sabo round has about the same penetration as the Ural's stock Sabo round, and the same damage. The Ural is going to out-alpha damage you all day long. Period. The next thing, the Ural's hull armor is tougher. A lot tougher. And the Ural's turret armor is almost just as tough. Plus, with the rounded turret versus the sloped turret, the Ural's side turret armor is tougher than the Chieftain's side turret armor. This is not looking good already. The Ural, of course, is also the second most mobile main battle tank. Camouflage on the Chieftain, if you move, you're spotted. Period. You have a long view range. You have better than the Ural. I think you have better than every other tank that's in the same main battle tank line. gun depression is where this tank starts to shine. And because of the angling around the turret, which I will show you guys right now, the angling of this turret, when your gun is fully depressed, this is about the angle your enemies are shooting at you from. With this steel blue applique armor adding a layer of spaced armor onto the tank, and you can actually see there is a significant amount of space between the applique and the actual main hull. This thing relatively blocks shots so long as it's hulled down and they don't shoot underneath the applique here. However, if they shoot underneath the applique here, it will break your turret, it will damage your gun all day long. And because of the sheer size of the gun, I mean, look how long this barrel is. Because of the sheer size of the gun, your gun consistently gets hit and takes damage for your tank, but that also means you're working with a busted gun. Aim time wise, it has one of the quickest aim times for a tier 5 vehicle. I think the Leopard 1A5 has a quicker aim time, and it has a fairly quick reload time, and it's like I said, the 120 mil rifled gun on this thing is excruciatingly pinpoint accurate. The turret traverse is faster than the Urals, but because the hull is so laborious to turn this thing, I mean, if you're outflanked, you're just going to get shot. There's no turning the hull to face. But, I mean, it helps, but you're not going to get turned around in time. You're just going to get shot. And if someone is trying to circle of death you, they likely are going to be able to do it, because this is the tank that you're going to get circled in. So moving on from the Ural, we can take a look at it versus the M60. Now, the M60 here says it has less damage and less penetration, but that's because I don't actually own the M60 yet. Let's go take a look at the actual M60A3's capabilities once it's upgraded. In comparison to the Chieftain, the fully upgraded round here has higher pen and lower damage. So you're going to get more penetration out of it. The Chieftain still fires a little quicker. So take that into mind. They have the same velocity and they both use the hash rounds. But the M60 gets a heat round, which again in the Chieftain you're going to be begging for. So damage per minute wise, the Chieftain wins. Hit points, the Chieftain also wins. Armor wise, M60A3, because once you get the ERA package on this thing, plus its 193 millimeters of frontal armor, it is significantly better armored than the Chieftain, and it's better sloped and rounded overall. Now, the Chieftain does have a better front upper hull angle, but if you're not shooting at that upper hull from head on, it's actually relatively easy to get a flatter shot and a penetration. Whereas with the M60A3, its hull sloping is better when you're not shooting at it from head on than when you're shooting at it from head on. So you can... They have about the same mobility, but the M60A3 gets a better engine upgrade that actually makes it quicker. Camouflage the exact same. M60A3 wins on the view range contest. They have the same gun depression, relatively same turret traverse. Chieftain fires faster, does more damage per shot, is more accurate, and aims quicker. You are going to have to take advantage of that if you want to beat your tier 5 counterparts. You really are going to have to take advantage of it. But now we move into the Leopard 1A5. And you guys all know I have a soft spot for Leopards. They are my tank. So let's have a look at the Leopard 1A5's fully upgraded Sabo round compared to the Chieftain's. Because right now what it's showing is the fully upgraded round, because that's what I have unlocked. So for a start, the Leopard has fewer upgrades to go through to get this round. Higher pen, lower damage. However, again, the Chieftain, despite having the higher alpha, the Chieftain still fires quicker, aims faster, and is more accurate than the Leopard. It also comes with better gun depression. So where's the point in using the Leopard? The Leopard's gun mantle is the hidden secret here. The Leopard has 180 millimeters of frontal turret armor base, with this gun mantle having an extra 200 millimeters of frontal turret armor, effective 380. Whereas the Chieftain does have better armor overall because of the applique. If you shoot around the applique armor, it hurts a lot more, and the applique doesn't cover up as much as that gun mantle does on the Leopard, as you can see from just the pictures. The Leopard has better camouflage rating. They have the exact same vision. The Leopard has significantly, obscenely better mobility. This is almost light tank mobility. If this thing just had a quicker engine, it would have light tank mobility. But the Leopard also has a slightly longer aim time and is less accurate. So there's kind of the balancing factor with the Chieftains. You have to remember, against all of your tier 5 counterparts, you have a very high damage Sabo round. It doesn't have as much penetration, which means you have to hit a weak spot. You have to. But even though it doesn't have as much penetration, the Sabo round from this thing has significantly higher alpha damage. And you will consistently see it do more quicker. But you have to be willing to take advantage of that and have to be willing to risk your tank for that. Now, the defect with the ammunition is there is no upgraded Hesh round. This is what you get. You either fire Sabo or you fire Hesh. Nothing in between. Kind of sucks because there's no heat shell. So there's no extra damage, slightly less penetration shell for you to fling out of this thing. You have to compensate for that. How do you compensate for that? Well, let's talk about retrofits. Now, as you guys can see, the Chieftain's retrofits are pretty restrictive. You get 1 universal, 2 armor, and 1 firepower. I recommend the chrome barrel lining to increase your already super accurate gun and increase the alpha damage you already get. Or, if you want to go for the higher rate of fire, go unlock the gyro stabilizer and get the even... You already had the best aim time of a main battle tank. Let's make it even better, and then let's make your reload even quicker. The other thing I recommend, and this is to compensate for your lower penetration value, is the advanced MRS. Because you're going to spam the Sabo round. I mean, you don't get much of a choice. You're basically spamming the Sabo round. So getting even more normalization for your AP Sabo shells is absolutely amazing for getting this thing to penetrate targets. Armor-wise, hull reinforcement just to get this thing... You already have a hit point advantage. Let's make it an insane hit point advantage. And since you have so many hit points, protect your crew. Your modules can take damage all day long, but your crew is the harder part to replace here in terms of what it's going to do to you. I recommend the improved spar liner over the ammo rack and the engine housing, because your engine is virtually indestructible. And we're going to get into why. So, the stock engine, there it is. The first engine upgrade is actually it doesn't look like it's any real upgrade. And in early access, we could actually see this. The stock engine upgrade actually gives your engine housing 400 more hit points. 400 more hit points. That's a lot of HP. But I don't recommend buying it, because in 2 battles you're going to buy the second engine upgrade. And the second engine upgrade has the same number of hit points as the first upgrade, but also you get better horsepower out of it and a quicker acceleration. Fair enough. Commander-wise, we go with our main battle tank commander here, Victor, because you have the least penetration of any tier 5 main battle tank. You're going to be dealing with bounces. When you bounce a shot, you're going to reload even faster. The Chieftain regularly gets the gun and turret damaged, so patch it up is a must. Or harden firing systems if you want to avoid the damage altogether. Your choice. I went with patch it up because I just assumed they're going to damage. The overpower is a must, because you're going to overmatch everyone's armor all day long. Because you're just going to fling the Sabo. I mean, I so rarely actually fire the Hesh shell. As you can see, I packed 40 Sabos and 8 Hesh, because taking advantage of this makes it even more fun. 0 in, of course, for main battle tanks is an obvious guess. And the leadership does have a significant effect on the capabilities of the tank. I have noticed the difference in having it and not having it, because I unlocked it while I was in this tank. So, nothing special on consumables. And the playstyle of this is hull down, maximum gun depression. Force them to shoot at this applique armor as much as possible. So you want to also remember that you want to try to engage enemies from your left side, where you have more of this applique armor present. And it will also protect this commander's hatch and this gunner's sight from being damaged and or penetrated. So you want to really try to go around corners and force the enemy to engage you on your left side from beneath you. This is a very, very specific play style. Be prepared for the pain of learning how to do this properly and figuring out how to position and maneuver yourself to get it done, because this tank is also very slow. It takes forever to accelerate. You're going to constantly have to plan ahead. This is like playing a battleship in World of Warships. You're thinking 4 moves ahead, not just your immediate next shot. And that's what makes it so difficult for people. Now, the gem of all of this work is the Challenger 1. Because this thing from the front is virtually indestructible, and then it gets all of this armor upgrade on top of that. So when you get the Challenger 1, you're... Matter of fact, the video I'm going to link you at the end of this one is the Challenger 1 video. But when you get the Challenger 1, you're going to be in heaven. You're going to be in absolute heaven when you get the Challenger 1 from this thing. But let's go take a look at some gameplay and see just how the Chieftain holds up. Alright guys, so this is the Chieftain. And this is what you're going to have to expect. And I'm going to be going over exactly how it's played. Now, as you can see, this is before I got the applique armor on this thing, because you can see that it's not there. Even in PvE, no applique is not okay. If anything, it's painful. And I can't emphasize that enough. It's painful. As you can see, and also the Obsidian HE shells shouldn't be doing that much to me. From the front, anyway. Now, the Sabo round does penetrate. And when it does, it hurts. Even when you overmatch. I am consistently overmatching with 450 damage rolls. Look at that. That HE shell. I mean, I know you guys can't see it because I didn't record this absolutely perfect. I really hope they get the replay system up soon. But I am taking 2 and 300 damage hits right now. From HE shells. These are little BMP3s doing 2 and 300 damage to this tank. And I'm just getting pounded because the other Chieftain and the MBT-70 took a route that makes no sense and have left me out to dry as the only target here. This is PvE, guys. You can't have one person be the only target. They will isolate it and kill it. That's how the bots are programmed. But, I mean, the overmatch extra module damage is absolutely wonderfully hilarious with this tank, because you do stuff like that. You set somebody on fire and watch them burn to death. But I have taken an absolute beating, and there's little I can do about it. My team is not really providing any real support. Now, if you notice, I am firing shots on the move, because look how small the aim circle is when I'm moving full speed. This is about as fast as it's going to go. And that was an overmatch shot. That was a little BMD2 AFV that just took 325 from my Sabo shell. You're going to spam Sabo. I mean, you don't have a reason not to. You don't have a heat shell. Your HESH shells are not super effective. May as well spam the Sabo, right? Because that's what I... Seriously. And the Challenger 1, by the way, doesn't get a heat shell either. So guess what you're going to be doing? This is actually getting you used to the fact that when you get the Challenger 1, you're going to be spamming Sabos as well. Again, the penetration isn't the best in the world, and you do have to compensate for that. Against players in M60 A3s, this is particularly present because, yeah, the M60 A3's lower plate armor is pretty strong. So you have to aim at the toe, between the toe cable and the track to guarantee a penetration, or you have to let him kind of turn enough that that side armor is showing. And as you guys know, in Armored Warfare, it doesn't take a lot of side armor to penetrate, and with the advanced MRS, it's even less. So as soon as an M60 comes up and is not directly head-on facing me. Now apparently there I actually did a full pass-through. Which means that I did no damage. I passed completely through the vehicle. I got my overmatch skill to work. So that tells me that it did overmatch, but it did a complete pass-through. However, here, there's an invisible wall where that dead truck's corpse is, Obsidian. You might want to fix that. But again, very, very powerful Sabo round. Consistently, you were going to punch harder than everything but a T-72 with your Sabo round. And even then, you're going to shoot almost at 3 times the rate of fire of the T-72 when it really comes down to a pure firefight. You're going to get off about 2.3 to 2.5 rounds per round the T-72 fires. And as you guys can see, everything I'm hitting, it penetrates. It doesn't even argue. It just goes, yep, straight through, no questions asked. Over and over again. And it will bounce. The turret will ricochet shells, so that's the good news. But if they shoot below the gun, or when you have the applique armor, if they shoot underneath the applique armor, there's a high chance it'll still penetrate. And we're getting shot at by artillery. But look at how slow this thing is just getting it to traverse. I'm still traversing, and I have to over-traverse because I traveled that distance. This thing is very, very slow. I just realized my hit point bar is actually right there for you guys. I'm sorry about the webcam. It was out of position when I recorded this, and I didn't realize, and totally human error. I thought I was doing game capture only, and it was doing the full live-on-live recording. So you might hear me occasionally in the background, but I actually don't talk through this entire thing. I'm just sitting here recording. That's an overmatch. That's a 357-point overmatch. The T-72 doesn't even get that kind of overmatching. But yeah, that is the one biggest advantage to this tank, is even when you overmatch, your minimum damage rolls are freaking amazing damage rolls to begin with. And when you flat out penetrate with Sabo rounds, I don't know many tanks that roll 500 when they penetrate the front of an enemy main battle tank with a Sabo round. This thing does it. Again, overmatch, 357. That seems to be about the absolute lowest you will roll when you overmatch, is 357. Which is really nice, actually. Well, there's a 333, but that's also an artillery piece that has less than 500 hit points. Which the damage cap against artillery is really annoying. I really wish we could just one-shot them at times. But, yeah. That's the Chieftain, guys. And as you can see, most of the time when I'm engaging, I'm trying to engage hold down, or I'm trying to engage from positions of height superiority, which is what you want to do. I just wish the HE shells didn't do as much damage to it, and I understand why. The hull armor on the front is very thin against HE impacts, so it's gonna do significant damage with HE impacts, because you hit the lower hull plate on this thing, it's hitting about 100 millimeters of armor. A BMP3 and you're gonna have to fight a BMP3 because it's a tier 6 tank. You're gonna have to fight them. A BMP3's frag cannon or a BMD3's frag cannon is gonna hurt. It's really, truly gonna hurt. And HE spam at this tank is effective. Until you get the applique armor and you have to be held down, HE spam at this tank is effective. Yeah. This is a painful grind. It is thankfully it is still fun to play. It's just in comparison to every other tank in the game, it's kind of the most painful grind there is, and the Chieftain is not the best vehicle in the world. So, I did do the most damage on my team. I tied for highest kills. Just every round that hit penetrated, so there you go. But it is PvE, it doesn't make a lot of money. But that's the Chieftain, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of this particular vehicle, and I hope that it kind of helps you play it. Because I know a lot of people are having trouble with this tank right now because they don't quite understand the playstyle is must engage from above, full gun depression, and the enemy needs to be on your left. That is a very, very difficult set of parameters that you have to set up in order to have this tank excel. When you get the Challenger, though, that's no longer a requirement, but we'll get into that when I review the Challenger. In the meantime, If you did like the video, please hit like and share. If you'd like to see more, then subscribe to the channel. I promise I put up more Armored Warfare stuff. If you would like to support the channel, you can do so through the Patreon page, i.e. donate $1. I appreciate it. And I do give individual letters to people who are my donators. And I also, if you can't do that, or you don't want to have to actually go through all that trouble, you can just click on the ad at the end of the video, and then corporate America has to pay for, you know, your entertainment. And there is my Chieftain video, my Challenger 1 video, actually right there for you guys if you want to go check out the Challenger 1 and see that it really truly is worth all the pain. In the meantime, this is Fiaura officially signing out right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye, guys.